Hello again, this is Marxist, and this is my rough guide on how to review a demo. This video is brought to you by a request on my page, on my channel page, and I really like the idea because watching demos, either my own demos or STV demos of better players than myself, is primarily how I got to be where I am right now. I also made sure to talk to people a lot, people who were at the time better than me or who still are better than me. And that helped a lot too. But the primary thing that I've always done isn't MGE or pugging all the time. It's been watching tons and tons of STVs, lots and lots of them. And I figured I should teach you how to do the same so that I can give you, along with the other tools I've provided here, I can give you the tools to progress beyond what I show here. So I'm going to go over some basic things like how to look at a demo, how to get everything to work, and that'll be, a couple minutes. And then I'll talk to you about how I watch a demo, how I watch a POV demo of myself, and how I watch an STV demo from either another team or my own matches. So the first thing we're going to talk about are just basic things that you'll need to do in order to watch a demo. There are other ways to do this, but the easiest way for me is you just hit Shift F2, and that'll bring up a demo playback prompt in the GUI. Your HUD may look different than mine. I have a HUD that modifies the opening menu, but the Shift F2 thing will still work. You can also use the console and console commands to play the demo, but I find this to be the easiest one. So if you've got a demo you want to watch, you just hit touch load here, click on it. Then that'll bring up a menu full of stuff, and that'll be all the demos that you've got in your TF folder. If you record your own demo, it'll automatically record to the TF folder of a POV demo. If you have an STV demo, you need to download those from some location. If it's of a scrim, then you need to get it off of the server that you played on. And the way you do that is you ask the server operator to go into the server's TF folder, and it'll record STVs in there as if they were POV demos, basically, of the server. In those, you'll be able to move around, you'll get to have a spectator HUD. In POV demos, you won't be able to move around, and you'll just have to watch whoever recorded the demo. Also, if someone happens to be in the STV and records a demo, that will not record the STV demo, and you'll end up with just a weird, funky camera that moves around on its own, basically, or goes AFK occasionally, and you don't really want that. So you either have to get the STV from the server itself, or a POV demo that you record personally or share with your friends. The way that you would pass POV demos around are you just either Dropbox or like a free demo, or a free upload service, where you would just upload that file and then pass it around. The best way to get STVs of teams that are perhaps better than you would be to go to ESEA's webpage, and I'll show you how to navigate through that. So here's how you'd go about getting an ESEA match STV. If you want to watch invite teams, or even I watched IM teams when I was in Open and UGC, because the things they were doing made a little bit more sense to me at the time, just because the play level isn't so far above what Open is that you couldn't understand it. Whereas sometimes in invite, teams do things that don't make sense or would be very difficult to replicate at a lower Open or new Open team level. So the first thing you do is you go to www.news.esea.net, and that'll take you to the main ESEA page. Then you'll click on the little word Premium up there, and I've circled it in red at the top of the screen just under the navigation bar. and then you'll click on League, which is in the little drop down there, and then we'll go to Divisions and Standings, and that'll change the way your screen looks, and we'll move us on to the next part. Now you'll want to select your division type. STV demos are only saved for the current season. As of right now, there isn't a season going on, so there aren't any STVs on the ESEA website. You're going to have to wait about 2 weeks for that to start happening. But you'll click on the little drop down, it'll say select a different division, and then you'll just select either IM, main, open, invite, whatever you want there, and it'll bring you to a page that looks like this one. Then you just click on the team that you want, and it'll bring you to this page, which is their record in the season so far or record in the seasons past. There are only seasons past right now because we're in the off season right now, so there aren't any STVs, as I said. But then you'll click on the match that you want by clicking on the date or the score, and it'll bring you to the next page, which is the stats page for that match. Then I've circled in red the spot where the STV link will be. Then you just click on that, and it'll download the STV, and then you just put it in your TF folder in your TF2. And in case you don't know how to find this TF folder I keep talking about, here's the file path. You'll go to My Computer, then the disk drive that has TF2 on it, then your program files. In editions later than XP, I think it'll say like x86 or something next to the proper programs files file. And then you'll go to Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Team Fortress 2, and then your TF folder will be in there. I should also make a special note that if you're going to watch somebody else's POV demo, so not an STV, you need to make absolutely certain that you've marked all your custom configs to read-only, and that you also mark the demo file itself to read-only. If you're not familiar with how to do that, I'll show you how to do it in the next slide. So you'll just right-click on the file that you want, and then you'll go to Properties, and it'll bring you to this menu, and then you'll click on read-only. You will not be able to edit the file until you remove the read-only, so this is in the case of your custom config files. You won't be able to edit them again and save the changes until you unmark read-only, but you want to have all this stuff marked to read-only, because when you look at someone else's POV, it can edit your configs, and that's a major problem. And it can also edit a lot of your in-game TF2 settings, and that's also kind of annoying. In this case, when you've marked all your custom configs and the demo itself to read-only, you're still going to have to change some of your options in TF2 after you watch the demo in some cases. Generally, you won't have to as long as you exit TF2 and then restart it. In that case, generally the only thing that gets messed up is your mouse sensitivity and your crosshair type. Now we'll talk about POV demos. There are a couple ways to record them yourself. The easiest way is to just open the console, and then you'll type in record, and then the name of whatever you want it to be. And then once you're done doing that, you'll just hit enter and it'll record the demo. And that's what it'll be named in your TF folder. The thing you need to be careful of here is that it won't allow you to have spaces in the name. So you have to use underlines if you want to be really verbose in your title name. Then, if you're done recording, you can either close TF2 and that'll just stop it, or you can type, I believe it's stop record. I believe that's what you do. I'm not 100% on that. You can also use plugins like PREC, or if you play in ESEA, it'll automatically record a POV for you. So let's look at a POV, shall we? Now, I'm not going to talk about any custom settings. We're just going to click on load. You won't need any real custom settings for this because the TF2 experience in the POV will be directly related to whose POV you're attempting to watch. So we'll just open this one. You just double click on it, it'll start to load. So now here we are in the POV demo, and you just hit F2 again, Shift F2 to bring this menu up. That'll pause the demo, and then the slider there selects what speed the demo plays back at, so you can watch stuff in super sweet slow motion if you want, or you can skip around in the demo by typing in some tick number, which is basically the game's system of time, and skip around in there. Or you can just hit resume and watch the demo. It's whatever makes you happiest. And also the demo experience will be whoever's POV you're watching, so everything will look like it does for them. As far as watching POVs go, the way that I go about doing it, or what I'm thinking about as I watch it, are, does anybody consistently mess up any rollouts? If that's the case, that's really easy to fix by just practicing a little bit. Also, everybody who watches a POV should practice telling who does and does not have Uber. Everyone on a good Sixes team should always know what the Uber situation is like, whether or not it's agreed upon ahead of time that it's actually your medic's job to do that, which that's how it is for most teams. But everybody should have a general idea, so it's a good thing to practice because you won't ever really know in the POV demo. Then, once you get going and watching the demo, you just think about the actions that the person takes and try to see what sort of situations they're working with. And what's really helpful there is to not focus on what their crosshair is pointed at, but instead look at the big picture, because usually someone's problem is that they're really focused in on a particular objective and they sort of ignore the forest for the trees, you know. They tend to focus in on one guy and they don't see the people on the edges that'll end up killing them or killing their medic and so on and so forth. Or they just don't read situations properly. So that's something to really look into, or also to appraise of yourself. You know, watch the demo again after you've played it and see if you can criticize the decisions that you made. And that's the easiest way to get better, is just after you scrim, watch your demo and criticize everything that you do. And eventually you'll figure out what's going wrong, unless you're #1 ESCA LAN champion undefeated. Then, you know, you'll probably still make mistakes, but they aren't that big of a deal in that case. But most people aren't in that boat, so there's always something for you to improve on, or for your team to improve on. Now we're going to talk about STV demos. So some things you need to have set up first. You're going to go to Advanced Options and pull this menu up. Most of this stuff is just personal preference, but HUD options is something you want to look at. You want to make sure that in your games you're using the Advanced Spectator HUD, or that you're also using it for STVs. And that's going to bring up a listing of players and their healths and all that. It won't do that in a normal game or in a POV demo, but it is helpful for using while you play because it shows you your team as you're respawning. So it's really easy to tell if anyone's spawning with you or not, or how dead you are. So that's one important thing. If you're wanting to record something from an STV or whatever, you can disable that and then you won't see anything. But it's really important that you have that for STV demo viewing. And if you want to have view models on your people like you're in a Sweet Frag video, then just turn those on if they aren't already. And then here's a little overview of my system for watching STVs. So first, watch every single mid in rapid succession. The way you'll do that is you'll obviously just watch the first mid and then speed up time until you get to the end of the next round, slow time back down again, watch the next mid, so on and so forth. Watch every single mid in rapid succession. Look out for rollout mistakes or positioning errors, and also try to figure out in each of those mids why the team that is winning and why the losing team is losing. That's the biggest, best way to fix your mids. Because if you're losing every single mid, you're probably going to lose every single match. So you need to make absolutely certain that your mids are as good as possible. Then, rewatch the whole demo again, paying special attention to Ubers. Are you building properly? Is somebody not building properly? Do they like to switch crits a lot? When do they switch crits? Blah, 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 so on and so forth. Then, the rest of the time, you're just going to look out for people who die at bad times. How does a team manage respawns? And how pushes and holds are executed in general. And now, we're going to do a small example of me watching an STV and sort of how I would watch a mid and how I would watch a round. So before we get started here in depth, in general, it's helpful to bind a key to pause. And I've shown that here. In case you can't read it, it's the word bind, and then quotes the key that you want, and then quotes again, and then demo underscore toggle pause, all one word on toggle pause, in case you can't read it in the YouTube video. Now you got some basic controls here where you can fly around with WASD, and the spacebar will locate you on different people, or in different views with mouse 1 rotating who it is that you're watching. So I like to fly to mid and get a little perch here, and then you can see the demos get there about the same time, and that blue team is going to go to the left mostly, with red team going mostly to the right. And then the fight comes down, soldier gets killed, demo gets killed, and red team bails out because the blue team has better control of the crates. So now I'd press Shift F2, 100% forward in time until points are scored, and then we just do that again and again and again and again until the match was over. Then, once the match was over, I will start again, and we'll watch just one round in an STV to show you kind of what I would think of in that case. Now, normally I would watch this in the overhead view, but I'm going to do first person, simply because my Fraps doesn't really like recording big zoomed out shots. But it's the thinking that's the important part here. I assume that's what you would want to see. So we'll start out watching Seagull in the first mid. So his rollout is immaculate. It's about as good of a job as you can do. Takes early damage. Now we're going to start looking at the scoreboard. Enigma goes down first. The Joker's down, sets their medic. This mid's over for Mix-Up. This is from last season, by the way. So now all they've got really left to do is to try to kill KBK. And that's what Seagull's going to try to do, but it's not going to work. So this round, for all intents and purposes, should go straight to the tryhards. And we got Blaze moving up really quick. A heavy defense from Mix-Up with an NG, Pyro, and Heavy. And 100% Uber advantage for KBK and friends. I've actually covered this particular Uber before in one of my other videos, but this doesn't work. They don't kill the gun. They don't kill the Heavy. And they lose Clockwork and their medic. So we're going to see Boomer running away. Again, I would normally watch this from a big panned out view. So I'm going to switch around a lot. It won't be pleasant viewing. So now Mix-Up's got Uber. They're going to try to push out probably, because they have Uber advantage. And normally pushing out of this door doesn't work very well, but they get Seagull out. And you can see most of the tryhards are kind of corralled back by their choke. Seagull's worried about this soldier, so he's gone back for him. And he does make Mix-Up pop. They have not capped either. Okay, there he goes. So Blaze is finally dead. KBK has Uber advantage, but they're 2 down. So this is one of those questionable times where Mix-Up could maybe push. They don't have to, but they could potentially. They're going to go uppers, so they're not going to push. This is just to get the Joker in a safe spot. Looks like the tryhards are going to push through the flank. Not an unusual tactic. Bring in 4 people. And I guess they're going to try and dip into lobby, but KVK can't really get through. Here he is. He's going to pop pretty early. Boomer comes around from behind, and Mix-Up does a wrap to mid. So that's one of those things to talk about. Actually, pause there. So when you would see that in a demo, you would say, wow, we just got wrapped almost. It's going to turn out okay for the tryhards, but that wrap play was really, really, really close to working. So in the future, you would say, when we're pushing big door, what could we do differently that would make us not as liable to get wrapped? And also maybe not have to pop our Uber when we go there.
Point is being captured. Alert! The control point is being captured.
Now you got Boomer on second, and the tryhards are going to roll forward. They also were trying to make sure that mid didn't get back capped because it was so close. KVK still has Uber advantage, and Mix-Up's going to start setting up their heavy defense again, but Boomer goes in on Seagull, and they end up getting Boomer, and Try goes down somewhere else. So that's going to probably not really delay them. Boomer might, because it's going to be about 12 seconds before he gets there, and they'll probably have Uber before then. But Harblue goes down, and he's dead for certain. So we'll see another Uber out of the tryhards. It might be really close, though. Wow, they dropped Seagull, too. So Clockwork goes for some big plays, and I guess they're just going to go ahead and go in. So no heavy defense. You've got Pyro. Their medic goes down in the Joker from Mix-Up. And you see a pretty good play here with everybody just hanging out up top here. Oh, and this might be the time KVK got 2 crossbow kills. Yeah, it is. And that's the round. So hopefully you kind of saw what my thought process is through that. I look at things, I try to see what's going on, I try to predict what will happen, and just watch how they do it. Again, I can't do it in the way I normally would, because Fraps would give me like 20 FPS through most of this if I recorded something that was really zoomed out. So I tried to do the best that I could with just watching first persons and sort of talking about things. But hopefully that was adequate for you to see sort of what I look for. And if you watch it as a group, when things like that rat play happens, if you happen to be Mix-Up and you want to try to learn to do rat plays, look at what they did there and see what they did wrong. Or if you happen to be the tryhards or are afraid of getting wrapped, look at what happened, see what you could do differently to prevent a rat play there. That's just an example there. Or how would you attack a last with Uber advantage that's running heavy pyro and G and things like that? What could you do to prevent that, and so on and so forth. And that's my rough guide to watching demos. I would strongly encourage you, even if it's just a POV, to watch at least a demo a week with your team. Either of a better team playing or of your own team playing. See how you could fix things. It really behooves you to do that, because this game isn't really like a lot of other FPS games where it's just, I'm better at shooting things than you. There are plenty of people in open right now who are really, really good at shooting at things, but they don't have the experience or the game sense to be able to play at higher level. So that's the major thing that you want to get out of STV demo reviews or POV demo reviews, and you'll see a marked improvement in your team every time you do it. And if you're really tryhardy about your reviews, maybe you'll get someone really good to watch it with you, so that they can kind of provide you with a check or baseline of sort of what is being said. So I hope I sorted everything out for you. I hope it was enjoyable. And I also hope that you make watching STVs or POVs a part of your sort of weekly routine. You will see results from it, I promise.